Hey everybody, Bud Brown here, living in Dumaguete City, Philippines. Yeah, baby. Well, today was a very interesting day. Ups and downs, ups and downs. I probably have told the story before, but I'm going to tell you one more time. There was a man that wanted to take skydiving lessons. Fortunately, he found a good company not too far from his house. So he got up in the plane. Unfortunately, the plane's engines were dying, and eventually the engine stopped running. So the man jumped out. Fortunately, he did have a parachute on. Unfortunately, the parachute didn't open. Fortunately, there was a big haystack right under where he was falling. Unfortunately, there was a pitchfork in the haystack. Fortunately, he missed the pitchfork. Unfortunately, he missed the haystack. So that's kind of the way this day went. Started off as usual, getting ready to go to have breakfast and coffee. Dropped Glory off downtown, and I thought, well, you know, Gabby's normally doesn't open till 8, and a lot of times I get there early, so fortunately, I got there about 8. Unfortunately, the guard told me that they stopped opening at 8. They open at 10 o'clock from now on. He said, why don't you go next door to Sans Rival? Well, I had thought, and I've eaten there before, and it's pretty good, but I thought it was one of the, excuse me, one of the more expensive restaurants, but I thought, well, I'll go in there and have a cup of coffee anyway. So sure enough, I went inside, and fortunately, coffee was only 45 pesos as compared to many places where it's 60 pesos, 65, and up. But so I ordered coffee. Unfortunately, they didn't have any plug-ins, but I had, my laptop was, full. So I started studying, and then I had breakfast. The breakfast was pretty good, not that expensive. But I wanted another cup of coffee. So as I was sitting there looking at my laptop on my second cup of coffee, a couple came there, real nice couple, Filipinos, introduced themselves, said they were going to meet someone here, and gave me their card, and they were there on business, and they're from Bacolod. So I'm always happy to meet new people, as you know, and practice and by the way, a lot of you may know this, but the island that I'm on, Dumaguete, it is the capital of the Negros Oriental, and the western side is called Negros Occidental. So, and I think I'm going to take this opportunity to let you know that the Philippines of course, has many islands, and it's divided into a lot of countries. It's divided like a lot of countries into provinces, and the states, of course it's called the United States, we're divided into states. Canada and other countries divide the country into provinces, which is just the same thing as a state, except it's a different word. So the Philippines is divided into different provinces now, or they also have regions, which is a group of provinces. Sometimes a province is the whole island. For example, Cebu. Cebu is an island. It's also a province. And then there's other islands, big islands, that have several provinces, like Mindanao is an island, but it has several provinces in it. Now, the island that I'm on, Negros, it's not a big island, and it's not a real small island. It's a medium-sized island, I'd say, and it's divided into two provinces. And the island's Negros, but it's the provinces are Negros Oriental and Negros Occidental. And not only, well, the capital, each province has its own capital. Dumaguete is the capital of Oriental, and the capital of Occidental is Bacolod. Now, I know a lot of foreigners, they read the name of that city before hearing anybody say the pronunciation, and they would say, "Oh yeah, you mean Bacolod." But anyway, Filipinos call it Bacolod. It's Bacolod. So several people, for some reason or another, from Bacolod come down to Dumaguete. Well, it's interesting that Bacolod has a different language than Dumaguete. Dumaguete, the language here is Cebuano, originally from Cebu, of course, and it comes crosses to Dumaguete and Oriental. That's Cebuano. In Bacolod, stay with me now, the people are called Ilonggo, but technically the language is called Hiligaynon. Many times people will say they speak Ilonggo, but technically Ilonggo is the people and they speak Hiligaynon. So anyway, I was curious about that language, and I was at Bacolod at one time, and man, I just could not, even though I'm comfortable with Tagalog and I'm beginning to get comfortable with Cebuano, I could not understand Hiligaynon. Well, the employees at Tom and Tom's coffee shop, a lot of them are Ilonggo. They speak Hiligaynon. So I asked them, how do you say good morning? They say, maayong aga. So the first part, which is interesting, maayong, is the same as Cebuano. But aga is a different word. And so in Hiligaynon, good morning is maayong aga. So these people are from Bacolod. And of course, I got my opportunity to wish them good morning in Hiligaynon, maayong aga. And we got to chit-chatting, and I really enjoyed their company. And of course, they said if I'm ever in Bacolod, be sure and look them up. They gave me the phone number and their name card. So we chit-chatted. Then, so that was a good thing. Well, I ordered another cup of coffee, and I'm calculating the cost of the breakfast, which I think was about 200 pesos. Plus each coffee, I'm thinking is going to be about 45, so 45, 90. Another 45 would be 135 and 200, so I'm thinking it's going to be a little over 300 pesos, which really more than I want to pay. So when I went to pay, she said it was like $2.20, I think it was. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I wonder if she knows that I have, that I've had 3 coffees. So, I hesitated for about a half a second. Then I said, I had three coffees. She shouts unlimited coffee. What? Oh, man. Man, if I hadn't known that, I'd had a couple more cups of coffee. I mean, they were the small ones anyway. So that was a good thing. And I said to myself, okay, now we're talking. I think I may just frequent Sans Rival a little more often. So that was a good thing. As I was going home, I said, I haven't checked my mailbox in a while. So I thought I'd stop and check it, which I did. Got something from a Social Security office. They know I'm here, and I may have told you every year they'll send a form and ask just 4 questions. Has there been a change in the citizenship of your country or residence? So in other words, have you moved? I always check no. Have you married or had a divorce? I check no. Have you worked or were you self-employed? No. And did you and your child live apart? In other words, if you had children and they were collecting Social Security and then they moved out of your house. Of course, that's no. So I always check no and send it back. I never had a problem. Well, I thought, man, is a year gone by already? So I looked at the instructions and it said, second notice. What? Recently, we sent you a Social Security questionnaire and asked you to fill it out and return it to us. We haven't received the questionnaire, so we're sending you another one. Please fill it out and return it to us. If we don't get it within 45 days, we may stop your benefit payments. What? I remember distinctly going in there, and the lady said, you can send it express, a little over 1,000 pesos, or for 120 pesos, it'll get there a little bit later, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. So I went in there, and I've already learned, don't get mad, don't get huffy, just tell them what happened and maybe they can explain it. So I went in, and she saw me carrying this envelope. She said, I know what you're going to say. You're the 21st person who've come in here. We've sent your questionnaire in last, I think she said June or July. We checked our records and they've received it. I don't know what's the matter with Social Security. They're sending you another one. And her voice was kind of loud. And so I kind of snapped to, yes, ma'am. And then I said, 21 people? She said, yeah. She said, but before they start yelling at me, I start yelling at them. I said, that's a good idea. Good, the best defense is an offense. So she said that she doesn't know what's the matter with them. And I'm curious, any of my subscribers that live here in Dumaguete or in the Philippines have had the same situation. She said, according to their records, it was received. So I said, I don't got go and go. What shall I do? See, just send it in again. Okay, so I'm going to go back tomorrow and send it in again. So we'll see what happens there. But anyway, you know, you never know what the day's going to bring. Thanks for coming along, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.